Here we are, guys. Monster Motivator number 32. I hope I'm right on that. Kate's going to let me know. I believe we're on number 32. We are back at the ranch. Now, I got to remember how to pronounce that. Tuscaloosa Ranch? Do you know?
Your guess is as good as
All
mine.
right. We're going to call it Tuscaloosa Ranch, whether it is or not right now, but it is absolutely beautiful. I think it's 32 acres of just paradise. So when Shelly, I said to Shelly, I'm going to introduce you to her in a second. I said, where do you want to do the interview? How about your office? How about your house? She goes, how about Lori's Ranch? I go, there ain't no argument here, right?
Ranch,
it's
yes.
You know, this place is, like they say, it's tough, but somebody has to do it, you know, right? So, as always, we are going to bring a rock star entrepreneur. She is going to share her story. She's going to share with you how she started, where she's at today, and where she sees herself going. I'm putting a lot on your plate, but I have a lot of faith. I have a lot of faith. So she's going to bring the real life, real raw value. You're going to see behind the curtain of Shelly Rufin. So Shelly, introduce yourself. Let us know where you started, where you're at today, and then really where you see yourself going.
Okay. The first question is, why am I where I'm at today? Where did
Well,
all this
first
come
question
from?
is, who are you?
Who I am. I'm a college and financial aid planner. I am a mother of 3 boys, 24,
Okay.
16, and 26.
Okay.
Married 28 years.
Well, look at that, huh?
Yeah. And multicultural family on top of that. So if just being married to your same ethnicity isn't difficult enough, we have
What is
he's
it?
Filipino.
Okay.
And so we have.
Are you German or?
I'm a little bit of everything.
You're a little bit of a mix. All right.
We have Italian going on.
The
Italian, Irish,
All right.
Turkey, Indian.
All right.
Yeah,
There you go. All right.
Now you add all that together.
Feel a lot of love.
Gets
a lot of love.
Gets interesting.
So that being said, so your husband's Filipino.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, like you were saying, that's a whole nother thing in the mix, right?
Yes,
So we're gonna.
It's a beautiful mix.
Right, but we're going to talk about that
Yes.
because there's people that are going through that or in that situation, and you know, I'm from the East Coast, so heavy, a lot of ethnic, very, very. What I noticed on the East Coast versus the West Coast is your ethnic background is it's so part of your identity on the East Coast. Italian, you know, German. I mean,
I'm
there's
from Ohio.
okay. So there's still areas in Philly that are called Germantown, right? Okay. And I'm half Polish and half Italian. There's an area in Camden City called Pollock Hill.
Ooh,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So okay. So Shelly, give us a little bit. Where'd you start? Where'd you grow up? You're from Ohio. Okay. So how'd you grow up? What was your
My upbringing?
Yes. What was it like?
My upbringing is very untraditional. It was, what's the best way to say this? In my family, the focus was not on education.
Okay.
And the focus was on working hard and making a living.
So before we even go any further, right?
Yes.
Is her family's focus was not on education, and you're looking at somebody here. How close are you to getting your PhD?
I have about 1.5 years left to have my PhD
She
in
has
psychology and industrial
less than
organization.
2 years to go to get her PhD. We are going to dive into that because I'm very, very interested to see how this all unfolds, especially coming from, you know, a blue collar family. Would that be correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically.
So now you're growing up in Ohio. What's it like?
Growing up in
I know
Ohio,
some
3
long
sisters.
winters.
Yeah, 3 sisters.
Okay.
And I have an older sister and 2 younger sisters. Hello to them out there, Susan, Becky, Cheryl.
Where are they back east?
And I have one she's in the East Coast, one that's in Arizona, and one that's in Mississippi.
Okay.
So we're all over the place, but it's great. We visit each other, have a great time.
Okay, so you're still close?
We're still close. We're very close, even more close, I think, now than ever before. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right. So are any of them entrepreneurs?
And I have one, actually, she works in for State Farm.
Okay.
And I have another one. She is, and it's kind of funny that she's polar opposite of me. She's a trucker, and she does security, and cute little thing, but I'll tell you, you don't mess with her.
She's a ball of fire.
She is a ball of fire.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Talk about diversity. So,
yes.
you get mom and dad?
And mom and dad. Growing up, there was a lot of, there wasn't so much stability in the house. And I think that's where my love of just wanting to help the kids nowadays that might be experiencing the same thing that I was experiencing back then, and to have someone that mentors and coaches them in the direction that they need.
Some support.
Some support.
Right.
We need to have support because a lot of times in the families are so busy making a living and taking care of the family that helping the kids prepare themselves for college kind of gets pushed to the wayside. Not
hard.
that we need to, but it's just the focus is on taking care of the family.
Yeah, I mean, look, and at the end of the day, a blue-collar home is the focus on survival.
Yes.
I mean, really, if you really get down to it, it's about, look, and I'm not saying maybe not always to that degree, but putting food on the table, right? Having a little bit of extra until the next payday.
Taking care of the family.
Right? I mean, just figuring it out, grinding it out. So that's how you grew up. That's how your conditioning was. Were you always a good student?
And I was an okay student. I think I was very shy, believe it or not. I was
really?
Extremely shy. But I was really heavily into high school as far as volunteering.
Just being active. Being
the treasurer of my high school club, and just trying to be as active as I could.
Okay. But you were still shy.
But I was shy. I had the friends that I had were really close friends.
It was a small circle.
A small circle. Yet I would still say hi to everybody. Everybody still to this day, they know who I was and everything. But I had that small circle that I hung out with and we did stuff
and you
with.
Felt safe.
And I still do, and they're all still there.
Really?
Tracy and Gina and every Penny, they're all still there.
You know, that's so funny. I still connect with a few, my crew, right? From,
Damien.
Right?
Hey, Damien.
Man, uh-oh. Oh, don't leave
David.
Damien out.
David, all of them.
So now you're out of high school, and then what?
And then I'm out of high school and went to college.
Okay.
Went to college.
Where'd you go?
And I started out working on my bachelor's degree. Okay. However, when I started working on my bachelor's degree, when I started out, it just didn't seem like the right fit. Coming from high school and the background, the foundation I had, I didn't have that support that I needed to do what I needed to do. So I took a break and I moved to South Carolina with my best friend, Susan Six. We moved to South Carolina. Okay. I hung out there, worked there, got some experience for a while. And I think from that point on is when my love of helping kids, getting my education was paramount.
Okay, so it's almost like as soon as you kind of got away from the Ohio, right, your home, you started to, it sounds like, right, you started to really find yourself. Like, what is it that you're not being, the outside noise isn't dictating your direction.
True.
And so, would that be pretty accurate? So,
that's really accurate.
So that really goes back to, again, the who you surround yourself with, right?
I was just thinking that.
But isn't it? It's who you surround yourself with, and your environment.
Yes. It's
right,
crucial.
because after a while, you're just going to fit into that environment.
Yes.
That's how we're built. So now you're starting to find yourself. You realize that school is, you enjoy it, or?
I love school.
You do?
I love it. My brain just.
We can't be. Look, I just want to say we can't be any more polar opposite right here. You're talking about someone that's less than 2 years away from her PhD, and you're talking to a guy that never graduated high school. How about this? See, that's what Monster Motivator does. We bring it all. But, okay, so now you are in your early 20s, I would imagine, right? You're in South Carolina. How long are you there?
I was there for about a year and a half.
Okay. Okay.
Took some college classes, worked.
Okay. Then what?
And had a great time. And I met my husband.
Down there? All right.
I met my husband in South Carolina,
All right.
And that was 28 years ago. So, yeah.
So then you left South Carolina with him?
No, I stayed there. He traveled. I stayed.
Oh.
I loved what I did.
Okay.
So I stayed. And we had a long-distance relationship for, I would say, a year and a half.
Wow.
For quite a long time.
Wow, so you were definitely meant to be together.
I loved what I did. But at the same time, phone bills rack up,
Right, overhead.
And we started taking trips to see each other, and that started racking up. And next thing you know,
Yeah, you just figured it out.
We knew that this is something that we both were meant to be together.
So where did you wind up together?
And so we ended up in Arizona.
Okay.
Okay, Yuma, Arizona.
Wow.
Yeah, and we got married 28 years ago.
It's hard to believe, right?
It's hard to believe, yeah, it is, to take a walk back in memory lane. Thank you very
how
much for
quick,
that.
But how quick? I mean,
Yeah,
really,
it
really.
is.
And I'm going to touch on that because at the end of the day, we don't know how long we have. So go make it happen. So now you're in Yuma, Arizona.
Yuma, Arizona.
Are you back in school?
And actually, no. I've always taken classes, but there I did not. There I actually worked for a mining corporation.
Okay.
And it was a perfect opportunity for me to, I just moved there, tried to find a job, something that I was great at doing.
What did they hire you for? What did you do?
And I worked for the geologists, the engineers,
okay.
Everybody there in the gold mining corporation, and I was the main typist for all of them because I typed like almost 100 words per minute.
Wow.
So so I could put out some reports. So I gained a lot of skills there too, but more importantly, the thing there was that, again, education was paramount.
Right.
So I continued my education. Education's always been a part of my life, no
Why?
matter where I
Let
went
me
or
ask
what
you
I've
this.
done.
Why? What do you think? Where'd you get that bug? I'm curious.
To me, I don't want to say genetics because it's not genetics, but
Well, was
I
it
think
part of the
there's-
DNA?
Yeah, but there's something within me that's always been there, that I've always had that thirst for learning more, knowing more, being more,
Okay.
reaching the top.
And see, the reason
Always
I'm
had
asking
that.
it this early is because I know a little bit of her story, and she's gonna blow you away with the things. When she says she has a hunger for learning, wait till you see. So now, obviously, are you starting to build your family in Arizona?
Right.
Okay, starting to build your family.
Right.
Are you a stay-at-home mom? What do you? Oh no, you're still working at the
I'm always
mining.
working. Yes,
Okay.
I'm working.
Always
yeah.
working.
I'm always
Okay.
pursuing my passions and things that I love.
Okay.
Things I love to
So
do.
when did you start to jump into school just like both feet in? Was it in Arizona?
I took some classes in Arizona, and towards my associate's degree. My goal is bachelor's degree.
Okay.
And just along the years, I just kept taking classes.
Okay.
I got to the point to where, in the very beginning, because I was not your valedictorian type of student,
Right,
you
right.
know.
But you were an overachiever.
But
Would that be?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
an overachiever.
But that's
yeah.
good.
I excelled. I wanted to prove that the thing that something like someone like myself that is less likely to accomplish,
Okay.
something like that.
Okay.
That you push yourself and you can.
Okay, so
Yeah.
now we're going to hit a huge point here, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Exactly what Shelly just said. That's in her DNA. It only depends on what she decides to focus on. See, if you decided, whatever reason, that you wanted to build a multi-million-dollar business and not go to school, you would have done that.
I would have done that.
Because no matter what,
That was
you're
my focus.
an entrepreneur for the most part, and especially very successful entrepreneurs. When you look behind a curtain,
Yeah.
they are overachievers. They're not supposed to win, right? But it's just where your focus was. What you think about comes about. So that's so important to understand that you have somebody here that's less than 2 years away of getting her PhD, and she's going to share with you. It goes way deeper than that in the educational world. But the point is, it doesn't matter what it is, right? When you have that DNA, when you have that drive, when you have that determination, nothing's going to stop you.
Exactly.
Nothing's going to stop you.
It's up to you.
It really is, right?
Yes.
And you have to put that hard work in. You have to be willing to fall down, get dirty, and get back up
Yes.
and wipe yourself off.
Yes.
Right?
And I have that.
You have it in. You have a ton of that. I mean, I could see. I mean, I just feel the energy. It's. And I knew I was so excited about this interview because look at me. I'm crazy. I love this because it gets my juices flowing. I mean, literally, it gets my juices flowing. So. Bring us a little farther along. Now, where are we at? We're in Arizona. You're building a family. You're working for the mining company. You're going to school part time. Now what? Now, let me ask you this though. How did your husband feel about school? Was he supportive? Did he wonder why you were so involved in school? What was his?
And there's as we
What
get
was those
farther
dynamics?
as we get farther along into this interview, I'm gonna touch on that.
Oh, good, good, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
One thing about my family is that my husband and my 3 boys is that, and I'm very blessed, I must say, to have this.
Right.
Is that anything and everything that I ever want to do, they're behind me 100%.
I mean, listen, you can't ask for anything more.
If I wanted to chalk it all up right now and say I want to start another business, he would look at me like, you're kidding me.
But
when you made this decision, I didn't sleep very good back then. And now we're going through it again. But he was like, okay, you got a vision, you got a passion, you got your focus, go for it.
Then there's nothing more that you could ask for. Now, what they're saying is we got your back.
Yes.
Now it's time for you to lace up your boots and get to work, right?
Yeah.
And which you love.
Which I love.
Exactly.
I do
so
what I do.
okay, so we'll get into that because I was curious because I wanted, not everyone has that support, and then not everyone that doesn't have that support, they still figure out a way.
They still figure out a way, and a lot of times when we think we don't have the support,
I like this.
We really do. It's there.
We just don't I'm glad you went down this road.
We don't see it.
Okay, let's get into that a little bit, right?
There's support systems there.
So, what do you think people miss? Do you think that how do you miss that?
I think along the way that it's kind of like you focus on what you want to see, not focus on what you should see.
Or what is really there.
Or what is really there, those opportunities. There could be a friend there that is motivating you. There could be an aunt, an uncle, mom, dad, anyone that's helping you in that direction. But for some reason, you just so closed off to that because maybe the self-esteem, you don't think you can do it, so you close yourself off.
And use that as an excuse.
And use that as an excuse not to
So
follow
the
your
old
passion.
saying, right? It's hard to see the picture inside the frame because you're inside that frame.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so bring us a little farther along. Now where are we at after Arizona, or how long have you been in Arizona?
So we were in Arizona for about 3 years.
Okay.
And then our first son was born.
Oh.
Richie, who's 26 years old now. My husband got orders and went to Okinawa, Japan.
So he was in the military?
He's in the military.
Oh, okay.
Now he's retired.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
What did he do?
And he was a little bit of everything. He was a videographer, worked in Genographics department.
In Army, Navy?
I call him Hollywood Marine is what I call him.
All
because
right.
he had, the air-conditioned Hollywood Marine behind the cameras, meeting all the Hollywood
the
stars all the
job,
time,
right?
So, yeah, we had our son, and then he got orders, and I'm pursuing my education and what I want to do, and then he went overseas, and then I was having my first, and I stayed and had my first child, and then after I had Richie, then went over to Okinawa, Japan. Never been overseas before. Got to go overseas. Were
you excited? How'd you feel?
25 years old.
I know. How did you feel? What was your feeling like?
My feeling going overseas, it was exciting, but it's
scary and exciting.
But scary and exciting, yeah, I think it is it. But at 25 years old, I mean, traveling adventure, seeing something different, and
listen, that is pretty cool.
Yeah. And then we had our second son, Emerson.
So you had him over there.
He had him over there, so he's dual citizen. He has dual citizenship.
Okay.
That's the thing he loves about being. That's why he says he's unique.
That is awesome.
So yeah, dual citizenship for Emerson, and so we're raising a 2-year-old, 4-year-old in Okinawa, Japan.
And what were you doing there?
And I actually worked again. Okay, found my love at American Red Cross, helping deliver messages to military.
Look at you.
And I worked for the local Japanese. I was an English conversationalist teacher. And yes.
And a toddler.
Yes.
Wow.
And I had two jobs there.
That's why I tell them all the time, the baddest human being on the planet is a good woman. Can do it all. Absolutely do it all. We need one thing. Let us focus on one thing, and we'll get to the next. That's our DNA.
Just follow the passion.
But a woman, oh man, that's amazing. Yeah. That's really.
And I had fun. I met a lot of. I would say in Japan, working with the local Japanese, I learned. When I was teaching English to the local Japanese women, I did not know that when you speak to the women, the husband answers.
Wow.
So usually when I'm used to, when I speak to the women, or the women as you speak to the man, the man as you speak to the women, the man answers. And then when we went out on, we went to festivals and stuff with the local Japanese, and the women would walk behind the men, and my husband and I would walk side by side. And
did anybody say anything?
And no,
because they knew you're American.
We're American, right? And so but I think the point there is that huge appreciation that I learned, that even if you're from a different culture and you have a different way you were brought up, or it's okay. That's the differences, and I think that's what brought us together with a lot of the local Japanese there, is that we were so different, but yet we were still somewhat the same, and it was amazing. But I learned so much from that experience. Right.
And you say, when you say you see such a different way of life, right?
Yes.
But it's okay. But it's okay. Because you've been around them, right? You spent time with them, and that's what they do. That's what they do. That's their culture. That's their culture, right? Yes. Right. So, and it gives you a much. If you were looking at it from the outside, like when you're explaining that at first to me, because I never witnessed it, right? I never experienced it. I'm thinking, man, that's horrible. Yeah. But because you've been with them, there's a respect there that's how their culture is, and they wouldn't know any other way. And that's what and you do what you know. Just like, can you imagine them looking at my husband? I like, oh my goodness, they walk side by side. How could they do? From their different perspectives. Yeah, and then not only that, the physical difference. Yes. Right. Yes. Very. You're apple pie American. That. So even on top of that, but they welcomed you. Yes, absolutely. Oh, really? Oh, are you kidding? And especially my kids. They look and they called him baby son. I was just, they come pinch their cheeks, and they just look at him like they're like two little golden children. It went on all over them. It was beautiful. See, I think too, and I'm gonna say this because this is what's coming to me. Is a big part of it so far through your journey. You've met a lot of great people. You've been surrounded by a lot of great people. But I think, I know, I'm not gonna say I think, I know the reason that is because of what you bring to the table. See, you're bringing that optimism, you're bringing that energy, right, to the table. Yes. Quantum physics tells us, right, it's energy. Yes. Energy that it's going to be great. Not saying you're not going to have problems or failures, but your whole energy is, I'm going to smash it. And this is such a great experience, right? Yes, I'm living life. Yes. And when that's the key, is when you can get it in that state. Yes. In that state is what dictates your world. And that's a very good point that you made, Dave, is that once you plant that seed, because it really truly is, once you plant that seed of optimism, once you plant it, the way it works in the brain, and I can go into that. No, but we're going to touch on that, because once you plant that, right. Ooh, now, I want to share a quick little story, because this is you, right? Mm-hmm. Now, you might have heard this. Okay, so there's an old man at the end of a road, at the end of a town. And there's a guy that's walking down the road, and he says to the old man, hey, I just left this town, and I'm looking for a new town to move to. How is this town? And the old man says, how was the town you left? He goes, it was horrible. He goes, that's why I left. I mean, nobody was friendly. Nobody said hello. He says, oh, well, that's the same here. So the guy keeps walking. Same old man, different guy, says, hey, I'm looking for a new town. How is this town? He says, how was the town you left? He goes, oh, it was awesome. He said, everyone was friendly. Everyone said hello. We knew everyone. We were like family. I'm just looking to get experience a new location, a new town, a new experience. He goes, it's the same here. Yeah. Welcome. Yes. Right? So that's your life. That gives me the chills. Because that's really cool. Because understand that it is you. You are the epicenter. You exactly. Right? You are the epicenter. You bring the energy, and the energy will follow you. And I am here to learn because of your background with the brain. Right? So I am so excited to learn, and I might be asking dumb questions, crazy questions, but I don't care. So now take us. Now you're out of Okinawa. How long were you in Okinawa? We were in Okinawa. I would say we were there about 4 years. Okay. And that was, like I said, a fabulous experience.
And then we left from there. Could have extended, but we left from there and came back to the U.S. Okay. Now I'm in culture shock.
All right, so how was that?
Because I'm used to everything.
What about your kids?
And the kids, the whole family. You know, because they're so young at that point in time. They don't remember. I mean, they do remember now. Back then, they remember a lot, but there wasn't a whole lot of learning because they weren't old enough to appreciate it.
If they were teenagers,
yes.
Yeah, in 5 years,
yes.
And then all of a sudden in the States,
yes.
But it had to be interesting for you and your husband.
Yes.
Was it?
Yeah.
What was it like when you first came back? What were some of the struggles?
The struggles were to drive on the right side of the road and not on the left side of the road.
All right, there you go.
Not get in a car accident.
That is basic, right? I mean, you don't even think about that.
Because my habit for 4 years was driving on the other side of the road.
I'd be a mess in England.
You know?
Yeah.
And yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so
okay.
that was really
and just the culture itself.
The culture itself, just trying to get acclimated and everything.
Yeah.
That took a while. 4 years. We used to Okinawa, Japan, and our way of living and culture there.
So where did you move?
And so we came back here, and we were in South Carolina.
Okay.
And raising our boys,
okay.
You know, young boys. And my husband got promoted, and I'm working and going to school. More importantly now, focusing on my love, which is go to school. And I tell you, I struggled because, and my husband was just like, whenever I go to read or go to because my kids were my love.
Yeah.
I'm a mom,
that was your life.
That was my life. So I didn't want to focus on my dreams and forget what I'm there supposed to be for my kids.
The main
responsibilities. Yeah. So I had to juggle that, and at the same time, be a good wife. And,
Was there a little guilt?
And no, I don't think there was guilt. As long as I am, again, focused on what I want to do, and my family supports me, so there's no guilt there.
Okay.
And then at the same time, just I think for me, just balancing it all.
And I think too, and tell me if this is right.
Yeah.
Balancing meaning, you know what that balance is for you.
Yes.
I might not, right?
Yeah.
That as long as it works for you.
Yeah.
That's and that's a great point. So many people get so caught up with, well, what are they going to think about me? Or I can't do this because of that person. If it works for you and you're not hurting anybody,
right?
Go do it.
Like
run.
the single moms out there that are raising kids on their own. I mean, and they, want to further their education, or whether you're married and you have young kids or old kids, and
or they want to start a business.
Or you want to start a business. Anything that you want to pursue, just follow your dreams and you again surround yourself with like-minded people. And then and my perspective is that you are going to have family members that don't support your goals and dreams.
Yeah.
But one thing is, the more you plant that optimism seed in their brain of why you're doing what you're doing, you will actually be making a huge influence on them, and they won't even know it.
Right. And at the very least, the ones that don't convert, that's okay. As long as it doesn't mess up your centering.
Exactly.
Right. And that's.
They'll eventually follow, though.
Yeah. I mean, right. It's here's the code for. People say, man, you post a lot on social media, you post a lot. Well, I learned this from Grant Cardone. It's great. It's so great. It's so genius. It's ACA. It's attention, criticism, admiration. I just, it's attention, criticism, and admiration. If you stick with it and you know you believe it. I'm a big guy that I believe that everything is based upon your why. And if you have a big enough why, it's going to pull you through.
Yes.
And I believe if you have a why that's bigger than you, you become unstoppable.
Yes.
Your family is your why.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that's going to stop you from doing
No.
Exactly. It's not even a question.
It's not an option.
Yeah, it's not an option. Why? Because your why is bigger than you.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
That's how deep it goes. So now where are we at?
So now we're in South Carolina. I'm raising a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Okay.
And life is good.
Okay.
And going to school.
Now, where are you at with your degrees?
And like I said, I mean, I've been taking class by class, raising the young boys at that time. But then we were there for 4 years. My focus was really the boys at that point, and doing some schooling here and there, and going to get my education. And then we moved to Michigan. which is where my husband's from.
Wow.
Not originally from, but that's where his family lives. And then my family's in Ohio. So we're there, and the kids are, you know, getting older now. They're 4 and 6, and 7 and 7 and 9. You know, getting older here. The Play-Doh years are passing me that by, and got my associate's degree finally.
Okay.
But at that point, it was all about the kids, the family, and my education.
And when that could fit in.
When that can fit in.
Right.
And I volunteered at the school. I was.
I know. It's just, talk about a lot of balls in the air. I mean, really.
I volunteered. I was room mom. I was Boy Scout leader because they needed to have a Cub Scout, so I was the Cub Scout leader instead of having the men do it. Mom was doing it, so I had my
awesome.
Cub Scout uniform on. Yes, so yes.
See, that's what we call badass. That's what we call badass.
Yeah, the uniform.
that is real monster mode. That's monster mode. So when did you start to get into school really, really heavy? Was it your kids older? And
they were older, and when they were 10 and 12, I remember this, working at the colleges, and have been working for some time now.
Okay. And
my husband sat both of the boys down, and 8 and 10, 10 and 12, sat them down and says, your mom's going back to school. She wants to finish her bachelor's degree. Everybody's going to learn how to wash dishes, how to do laundry, how to clean house.
Okay.
You're old enough, and mom's no longer going to do this.
Wow.
Yeah, and it all changed from that point on.
And they were on board.
And they were on board, and they learned how to do laundry and do dishes and how to cook eggs and how to, you know, provide for themselves when I wasn't there.
How cool is that? Because now you're pursuing what you want to do.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Your husband's completely on board.
Yes.
And you're creating independent people.
Yes.
Right? And that's really the job of a parent, right?
Yes. Yes.
So when you're not around, they can talk about, talk about letting things fall into place, because I'm a big believer when the intention is pure.
Yes.
That's what matters.
And it was awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So, no more dishes, no more laundry, and you're going to school.
Yes.
This is
I'm working.
You were pinching yourself.
I'm
Wait a
working
minute.
full time, going to school full time.
Wow.
That's what I did.
Wow.
I worked full time, 40 hours a week, and I went to school, took classes toward my bachelor's degree. I wanted to get it done in less than 2 years. And so I got it done. I finished my bachelor's degree in 18 months and went full time. And yeah, it was painful, but I did it.
But you loved it.
I loved it.
You loved it.
I loved
you
it.
loved it.
I studied when they went off and went to Disneyland. The whole family went off to Disneyland.
Okay.
I didn't get to go. I stayed back and studied.
But let's talk about that, right? So how many people you hear and hear that say, I want to be an entrepreneur, but I work all day. And I have this, I have that. Okay, well, 7 to 11:30 at night, right? Whatever that is, a Sunday, right? You have to be willing to pay the dues.
Pay the price.
You have to be willing, because I always say life makes the rules. We don't. And life doesn't care about your excuses. Life doesn't care about your situation, right? And life makes you earn it. Yes. So you're putting the hours in. Yes. You are full time now. I want to get into.
But I'm on fire and I'm loving it.
No, that's your DNA.
Me, that's me.
That's why I said, if you decided to not go to school and build a business, I wish I was your partner. I'll be honest with you, because you're a beast, and you're really taking the excuses away, because it doesn't matter, right? But here's the other thing that's so important: hard work is vital. Yes. Drive, determination is vital, but the reason that she was able to spend that, besides her work ethic and her character, besides all that, the reason that Sunday afternoon she was buried in books is because she loved it. See, she loved what she does. And so that takes it's such a different world, right? When you do, so we're here for a limited period of time. Figure out what it is that you love and run with it. Would you say?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what I did. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And my family was very supportive in that. Yeah.
So
when I didn't go to Disneyland, it was okay with. I mean, it wasn't okay with
them. No, but
it
wasn't ideal.
But they knew that I had commitments that
there was a bigger thing.
There was a bigger picture.
But it wasn't ideal, but it was understandable.
It was understandable.
And they supported you.
Yes.
Yeah. So when did you start to get? Because I want to know. When did you start to get into the brain? And give us a little bit of. Tell us all about that.
How I got into the brain. That once I finished, got my bachelor's degree, and I'm working for, I'm going from working from different college to college. I started out as a administrative assistant, then I moved my way up to financial aid advisor, and then financial aid officer, then outreach coordinator.
Of course.
All those positions, then director of financial aid scholarships, kept going.
Right.
And then and I knew that education is paramount again. So if I'm going to go any further, I need to have that education to carry me forward, because it's a competitive world out there, especially for what I want to do. And so kept going, and I got my started my master's degree in human services.
Okay.
That was not my goal. My goal was the master's degree in clinical counseling neuroscience. But I got the master's degree in human services, and then after I finished that, I kept going and finished the master's in clinical counseling and neuroscience.
Wow.
Now, the study of the brain, I learned when we had to go in and we had to diagnose a child's brain, adolescent brain, women's brain, man's brain, Jeffrey Dahmer's brain, we had to diagnose,
Because Einstein's brain's in a jar, right? In Rutgers.
And what makes people do what they do, and their why behind it, and our environment has a lot to do with it, our culture, our upbringing.
I would love to do a whole show on that.
Yeah.
I mean, what like things that you could share.
Mm-hmm.
Just give us something that we might not even think about that's so interesting. Like if you're talking about Jeffrey Dahmer's brain, what did they find?
One thing that I think that everybody can relate to, and I'm going to do this thing here about like what keeps people up at night, because a lot of us stress about
insomnia.
Keep us up at night, and we stress about how we're going to pay the bills. How am I, going to do this, going to do that? That keep in mind that those stresses are going to be there. Okay.
It's life.
It's life, and you just take it that it's life, and then the more you stress about it, the more negative you feed into that part of that experience, the more
it grows.
The more it grows, and the more stress, and you're not going to be able to sleep. It's going to keep you up at night.
It's like a domino effect, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But if you, like they say, for every one negative experience you have in your life, you have to counteract it with 5 positive experiences.
Okay, let me ask you this. Okay. So I believe that if you are in a funk, I believe that the quickest way to get out of a funk is a gratitude list. Being grateful, because it changes your state.
Yes,
here's the other thing that I believe, and you tell me, right? Is when you are focused on being grateful, you cannot focus on being sad or overwhelmed. You can't do both.
You can't do
right?
both.
You cannot do both.
No.
So that's
your brain doesn't understand that. Yeah, all it understands is gratitude.
Tell us, reinforce that, because now it's coming from somebody that has some degrees. Talk about that.
And for example, like for myself, even I do have the master's, 2 master's degree. I'm pursuing the PhD, but I have rough days too.
No, you're human.
Well, I'm human. So when if I'm having a rough time, it doesn't last for long, but
well, I'll tell you why, right? Because your level of awareness, right?
Level of awareness
will not let you stay there.
No.
See, you're so. I love this because it's not about not having bad days. It's not about not having rough times. It's not about not falling down, right? It's about knowing how to get out of it with the tools much quicker than somebody else.
And we all have those tools. It's just a matter of using them.
Right?
We all have them. You're educated or not, you have them.
It's the same recipe, different ingredients.
Yes, you have them. It's just a matter of using what you have and keep using it again. Daily habits, using it again.
And build on that. And build on that. So then it gets you out of that funk much quicker than if somebody just says, you know what, this is horrible, whatever that is, or depression, right?
Yeah.
Now, listen, I know you can go really deep on that.
I was just going to give you an example
Yeah,
of that.
Yeah.
For example, like for our computers, hopefully everybody can get this example here. Everybody has a computer, and we have a virus in our computer every now and then, okay? Now we have a choice. We can let the virus take over our computer, which now it's not going to be usable.
Or cut it out.
Or you can cut it out and put in an antivirus that prevents from all that from happening, and now you have a fully run computer, fully run brain.
Okay.
That is, whatever you put in your computer, you put in your brain, it's going to run at its best.
Yeah, and
it's basically the way you
like
look
your
at
body.
it. Like your
right?
Yes.
It's our vehicle to get us through this lifetime.
Yes.
So the better we take care of it, the better our ride.
Yes.
That's what I always say.
Yes.
And I also believe that, and again, I'm just going to use depression as an example because everyone, it's so big, right?
Yes.
So
yes,
big. Everyone and
It's
their
huge.
grandmother's got it.
Yeah.
All right. It's crazy. But you want to put things into perspective, right? And I also believe it so much goes back to your conditioning. So in other words, if things, you could look at something and say, and your conditioning is very, very healthy, and you could say, you know what, it's not that bad, we're going to get through it. Somebody else that has a different conditioning and that confronts them, they go right back into their shell because that's what they know.
That's what they know. That's
right?
Yes.
It's almost like
true.
it's almost like, you know, a dog that's beat.
You go
right?
back to your comfort level.
You go back to that safety.
That safety.
That safety,
Then
right?
you think is safety, but it's really not.
It's horrible,
Yeah,
right?
it's horrible.
Because I always say you're either moving forward
Yeah.
or you're moving backwards, and when you move backwards long enough, you disappear. I mean,
It's true.
right?
Yes.
It's true. So what's so interesting is, we have the same. We're so polar opposite when it came to education, right? But we're so on the same page when it comes to life. That's what's so
makes
cool.
sense.
That's what's so cool. And I believe, and you tell me, I believe for now. I'm only using my examples because that's what I know. I went to public school. You know, so back in the 70s and 80s, right? That's how old I am. I believe it's a tragedy that personal development is not taught in school. I really do. I believe that the mind, the subconscious, the conscious, and how it's tied into the body creates our results. I believe now. Again, I'm going back to when I was in school. Things could have changed, right? And private school, charter school, I don't know. I'm just saying my experience. I believe that personal development is really life. I do. I believe that, and I think me and you kind of show that. We've come from totally different backgrounds.
Yes.
We took completely different roads,
Yes.
right?
Yes, we did.
But we're so similar,
Yes.
right? Because I'm an overachiever. I wasn't supposed to win.
Yeah.
My left back in the second grade, diagnosed with ADD, said I had a learning disorder, and never graduated high school. So I wasn't supposed to win.
Yeah.
I didn't learn in that environment.
Yeah.
So, and then you didn't come from a household that backed it up. You had to figure it out on your own, find yourself, and it's just that you got the school bug, right? You could have got the entrepreneurial bug, but you even have that. So
Yeah,
I love
it's
that.
still
So
there.
now you've been an entrepreneur for 8 years, right? And tell us about that. Look, I don't even want to let her go.
Okay.
I have her trapped here.
So over the years, you know, working for different colleges and of course getting my 2 master's degree, the one that I love, which was my master's degree in clinical counseling neuroscience. And then as soon as I got my master's degree, this was the crazy thing about it, and you're gonna believe this, but I was finishing up my master's degree and I started my PhD at the same time.
Oh my God. I love it because there is zero excuses out there.
And I was running my business. I was a founder and owner of EDFIN Cash for College.
And how old was your youngest?
And Jess at the time, I would say, Jess is 16 now. I want to say he was 12. Jess,
Wow.
I think Jess was about 12.
Wow, he was just about a teenager.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is, I mean,
Yeah.
so now you're less than 2 years away from getting your PhD,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Before we jump off, well, first let me ask you this. I want to invite you back on, and we want to get into the brain.
Okay.
Is that a deal?
That's a deal.
Okay, you heard that.
That's a deal.
That's a deal. And I'm not letting you out of it. What is there anything that I didn't touch on that you want to share? Because there's, and you know this because you touched on it and you talked about it. There's people out there that are trying to figure out how to get through those fear barriers, whether it's starting a business, getting out of their 9 to 5, a single mom, right? A guy that's going through a bitter divorce, you know, trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything that I know you have a ton of gold nuggets, but is there something that you can share that I didn't touch on?
I think the main thing is again, surround yourself with like-minded people.
Environment.
The environment.
Okay.
And I was very fortunate with my husband that when I was working at the colleges and, you know, been working there for almost 15 years.
Yeah.
And he knew that I wanted to do more. And he knew I wanted to go back to school. You know, I was going to continue my education. And one day when I was at the college, he called me up in the middle of the day, and he says, "What are you doing?" And I said, "You know, working." And he says, "You know, you've been wanting to go back to school, and you have all these dreams and goals and ambitions that are keeping me up at night."
He just came at you.
Yeah, that are keeping him up at night, you know. And he says, "Well, I'm just letting you know." He says, "Go ahead and go back to school." He says, "Give up your 9 to 5 job, do what you want to do." And
you were literally at your job.
And I was at my job. And he says, "Just to let you know, I didn't sleep at all last night because I'm totally stressed out because of all the goals and dreams and ambitions and things that you want to do in your life. You need to do them."
Wow.
And so, yes.
Wow.
So I resigned my job, got my education, in less than a year started EDFIN Cash for College.
Okay.
And that was in 2008. And continue my education at the same time having the company.
What is that?
Yeah. EDFIN Cash for College.
Break that down before we jump off.
EDFIN Cash for College, my vision behind EDFIN is to help families with college planning, that is helping them complete the admissions application that they can already complete on their own, which a lot of us can, but then there's always, you know, an expert that has the knowledge that can help complete those applications to increase the kids' chances of getting
complete support to
getting that school Berkeley, Stanford, you know.
And is this a business that you started from scratch?
This is a business I started from scratch.
And still going after your PhD.
And still continuing my PhD. Yeah.
What a beast.
So
wow.
Like I said, my vision for EDFIN is for this year is to help 100 more families.
Okay.
I have my goals every year.
Okay.
And it's helping them with their admissions application, writing those winning essays. Essays are everything in admissions applications getting accepted. And then the mentoring and coaching, huge part of the program.
Wow. Is
that I have young girls and young boys that come into the parents bring them into the company that, you know, they have all these dreams and goals and they're all over the place, but that's just it. They're all over the place, and we need to kind of bring all those goals and dreams together and help them find their focus. Or
is it the ones that don't have it?
Or
they're trying to say, you know what, I don't know.
Yes.
Right?
And there are the students that don't know what they want to be when they grow up, and so we have a program that helps facilitate that entire process, helping the kids determine their strengths, their interests, their likes.
And is this located in Temecula?
And this is located in Temecula, helping the kids determine what they value and what motivates them and their why. Why are they motivated in that?
Love it.
And then, of course, the financial aid part on it. We complete the FAFSA, the state grant institution. The whole package.
Wow.
Yeah, the whole package. Focusing for 9th through 12th grade kids or kids that are currently in college and still need some help in that area.
Wow.
We help them.
Is there a age limit?
And we focus mainly on 9th through 12th grade kids.
Okay.
But I do have some adult students that, let's say, they want to go back to school and get their PhD or their master's or bachelor's.
Structured.
We do have packages that help those students as well.
Structured.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I mean, you're not going to not help somebody. I know that.
There are programs for them as well.
There's programs.
Yes.
So where can they find you?
Okay. They can find me in Temecula. And it's across from Promenade Mall, and the phone number is 951-261-9799.
What about your social media? Where can they find you? Facebook?
On Facebook, and it's EDFIN Cash for College.
Okay.
.com is the website, and Facebook is the same thing. LinkedIn's the same.
Okay. And we have her promo, so we're going to share that again.
Okay.
Shelly's going to share this live stream as well to all of her people, all of her groups, and we have a lot of hearts that came in.
Yes,
so I just want to see if there's a question before we jump off.
That would be awesome.
But I have to walk up there because I can't read it.
Okay.
So Let's see. I know we have a lot of hearts, so there's a lot of love out there. Shane, a bunch of hearts.
What do you have there?
A guy named Shane.
There was a big question.
I know.
There, I noticed.
I know. Me too. All right. We have Janelle. Oh, she's on Friday. I was stationed in Okinawa years ago, but still can't wait to visit. Shelly, Shelly, you rock on. Dave Daley, great to meet you. And well, I'm going to see her on Friday. So she lived in Okinawa,
Okay.
so she can relate.
Okay.
And
Any questions?
let me see. No questions, but everyone loves you. So I want to have you back
Okay.
about the brain
Okay.
because there's so much that I'm going to be able to learn. And here's real quick, right? I probably never. I never read a book from cover to cover in my school years, right? And if I had a book report to do, I'd read the back, read the front, and then figure out who I could get information from, right?
Yeah.
It's called survival.
Yeah. I get it.
So, but when I got introduced to personal development, I couldn't stop learning and stop studying.
That's beautiful.
And still to this day, I love it. I immerse myself. But what I love is when I can talk to somebody like you that's so different, right? And came from such a different world, but we're so similar. It just reinforces.
Yeah.
Really, life is simple, just not always easy. It's very simple, not always easy, right?
It's a journey.
Okay.
It's a journey.
Okay.
It's a beautiful journey.
So, guys, before we jump off, we are going to have her back on. She agreed to that. She even shook my hand. I'm very excited. Monster Motivator TV, a live stream TV show that's going to come to you, highlight local businesses, entrepreneurs, nonprofits that are making a difference in the community. Reach out to us. Go online. Book your date. It's as easy as that. And we're very competitive with our pricing. It's free. So we are taking all the excuses out. This lady's story took all the excuses out. I don't want to hear one complaint, one bitch or moan, because this lady is the epitome of just make it happen. Just get it done. And I love that. And I love the energy. And I knew it from the day that I met her. She had to come on. And we were very, very pumped. And please feel free to reach out to Shelly. Ask her any questions. And if you can't get a hold of her, I know how to find her. So please reach out. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. And we're going to see you on the next episode. And keep making it happen. Ah! She even doesn't make a sound. That was awesome. That was